Welcome back to the 9 o'clock news. Good to have your company this morning. Nine's Chris O'Keefe is here with some exclusive breaking news on international travel. Big news this, Chris.
Big news. The Prime Minister, Scott Morrison, will announce that international travel will resume next month. That's what we're expecting the Prime Minister to say out of Canberra today. And how this is going to work is there's not going to be travel bubbles like we saw with New Zealand. The bubbles will be off. There won't be risk countries, so where you'll have a red, yellow or green risk country that will dictate whether or not you have to quarantine. It will be if you are double vaccinated with a TGA-approved vaccine, you will be able to come to Australia and do 7 days quarantine at home. Now, this is the pilot that they did in Adelaide. They are just about to start another trial here in Sydney. It is expected, given that New South Wales is a fair way ahead of everyone else in terms of vaccine coverage, that Gladys Berejiklian, the Premier here, has said that Sydney Airport will be the first cab off the rank, and that's likely to be as early as the middle of November. So dust your passports off, we'll be back.
So there's no individual countries that are going to be singled out, it's just wherever you want to go?
If you are double vaccinated, you'll be treated the same if you're from Cronulla or Canada. It doesn't matter. So if you're double vaccinated with a TGA-approved vaccine, no matter where in the world you're from, if you're an Australian citizen or otherwise, you will be able to come into Australia. It will be 7 days quarantine at home. So hotel quarantine will only exist, or quarantine facilities will only exist, if you are unvaccinated or you've come from a country where that vaccine is not accredited by the TGA.
So presumably just Sydney at this point? Or?
In the first instance, it will be just Sydney. Now, don't forget, we've got National Cabinet today, so it'll be interesting to see how Mark McGowan and Palaszczuk do respond to this, because it is big news. But as well as that, what's really important to mention too, there will no longer be any exemptions for people to leave Australia. So what we've had to do for the last 2 years is go to Home Affairs and ask for an exemption to leave Australia.
Yeah.
That will be off. You'll be able to leave freely. You'll be able to return freely. 7 days quarantine at home.
Gee, that's huge news. Huge news. Well done, Chris. Thank you. And more in National 9 News throughout the course of the day and also on Today Extra.
That is big, isn't it? Especially if you think all those families have been separated by international borders. Might be able to have a Christmas together before you can get into Queensland or WA, potentially.
Well, that's not nice, but yeah, I get what you're
I didn't mean it not to be nice, sorry.
That was a bit mean, I thought. She's having a go at me, isn't she?
You're so sensitive today.
Oh, look, you can travel around the world, but you can't go to Queensland.
I didn't sing-song it.
That's what I felt in my head.
Okay, you'll be right.
Okay.
So we're almost there, my friend.
Thank you.
Well, Victoria is bracing for today's case numbers, due to be released any minute now. The state recorded, as we know, just over 1,400 cases yesterday, and we're being warned the worst is yet to come. Dr Mukesh Haikerwal spoke to Today on 9 earlier.
I would not be surprised if we see 6,000 cases a day towards the end of next week or the week after. The hospitals are full. I quake in my boots when I think, where am I going to send a patient today if they need to go to hospital?
Today, Melbourne reporter Christina Hearn is at a testing site in Albert Park. Chris, a difficult few weeks ahead.
Ali, health officials will be monitoring these case numbers over the coming days and weeks after that record number yesterday, a 50% spike on the previous day. And certainly the government is blaming illegal gatherings over the AFL long weekend for hundreds of those cases. Either way, the Victorian Premier says there's no turning back. The state will be reopening. However, if these case numbers continue to surge, he says that the roadmap out might have to be paused or modified, which of course would be devastating news for businesses that are just waiting to reopen. On the flip side of that, of course, as we heard from just then from Dr Mukesh Haikerwal, we have to keep in mind our hospital system and whether they can cope. And not just our hospital system, but also these testing sites all around Melbourne. I'm here at Albert Park. It opened up an hour ago. You can see it's been a long queue lining up even before opening. And all these testing sites have to be manned with doctors and nurses. And as we know, our hospital system is stretched at the moment. And on top of that, they have to find all these healthcare workers to man these testing sites as exposure sites dramatically increase as case numbers surge. Ali?
OK, a lot going on. Thanks, Chris.